My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. Osia dem yopo.
Yewura Mustapha Gbande. Was Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Angemus. Naboko die.
Redia adumo over.
Iya pa wan na me bonzano. Honorable Joseph Yami, me bra.
Ah, so no there.
Na ni papa chese hunting na no kon enye wan waso national organizer of the NDC.
Was it politics a hunting job?
A hunting job. Na mabon chen enura video bi akọ viral. Yewura champion chama Wontumi. Na ose omuru mraso omuru chopaso omuru bibia so se bose onkobu nkotodwe se ye TV so se Yewura mahama ne abusuafo animu a wo beye mini se wanya video ni bia hwe a
Maybe pa
to say
oh over a amount to me in about copper. So the be Adam Capital said, Chairman to power ceremony.
I want to ceremony.
Oh, Chairman to me a ceremony. But yes, and said, yes, and sure ever found a bar and tundrum, a banner brow. Now, I'm on your family. Yebeko swaye kuru ni yechiri kuru brabon ni yechiri kuru se eme de pass se minu ya chama Wontumi enne wetimi adan wadwen hu se nema bia waye wakakra emre bia etwam no yemfa nya manyosan kwa me first type wa minya referral with school tamwa obi koka na nado wasem se ode se waburu no be kai asem no
Kai pa
na abayu bi fa no gidiginam se e pacho sa enyama na enye amanyosem abayu no fa chire bom ko ema mi teacher for time ama model fair but adia yem fanya
na school so no ya na sa ade na ya ne koso na asem bi okro na emfa academic activities ni work no ene de me ba ese me besua no na wa mutim de fa so na o ma trail
relationship. That is the level at which relationship can influence. But
okay
that's a mechanism. As someone yem fanya amanyosem yem fanya amanyosem. I have always maintained say enema bi wo ha ma yen kan faye ho se wutimi bi wa no ka se o manpanyi dada ene no made edda without thinking of the implications on his family, the pride of his wife, his children, while you have the same in your house. So kwame yen bukura yen to fe wa ya na mabontin. Say you worry any problem. Look at how heat it can be. Now you try to undermine the marriage, matrimony of the first gentleman of your country at the time that he was a former president. Overcome.
meet you
But I will never encourage anybody to draw in President Nanado's enviable family into political discourse. Politics is Nanado's cross and he should carry it. Politics is President Mahama's cross and he must carry it. But you don't bring him his family, his wife, his children. Minya Chama Wontumi said all of this. Number two, you dared a former president of the Republic of Ghana. Said he cannot enter your region. Abraham Tawachau. as a regional chairman of a political party. And when you are doing all of this, then clearly, on the back of this conversation, at the back of say, bank I just walk on brave one not NPP Ashanti Regional Constituency Executive for the first time a whole press conference mentioning contracts, government contracts are a regional chairman what Gia 1 year.
Because they not say a road contract as a thing.
Yes, 1 year. Now, what the Wonsako group are buying sikem, no Febi. On top of it, now mining. We are regional chairman. But me and Mustapha, you don't have to do it. Done all of this. Wontumi there is no case anywhere. Now, Fabian, you want to draw him into these issues. It's not right.
Woman, dear, no more can say, a buying send more. And Kakesino, a double aquana or Biwa Anopa. Now, lead counsel who appear could be a crack catcher and say, my lord, your patcho you will be and was I on the area says, oh, 9 o'clock. I say, okay, and I'm about to a make more. Nature's a figure didn't intend to Emma Poliando crab a cancer derby as some near contempt. The nature says, our problem is say, Saban send you more. I didn't hear you break your film and Namsuna, the Namso echo.
Photocasm, we have an expeditious trial and your bonnet. And expeditious trial doesn't injure the right of any party. Say, facts are facts and they are sacrosanct. The fact is that Obekawa Semenumre, Ukana no pa, Sana Obekano. The emotions of the judge does not play in fact. The morning with ya, you can't know, you can't know, Sana clear. And to see a speedo, it doesn't change the issues. I'm just saying, sir. In fact, and now we are. What most parties say, I said a judgment there. Many opinions could be started, say, oh, yes, I am who say. MPP as a political party, you know, is full of double standards. Which shields persons who have committed crimes. And you see, it's very disappointing. Say, many opinions mostly you will hear him in this kind of issues. So, no, his expertise is to undermine justice and scattering issues, even though it will be of justice to the nation. And the start to say emotional blackmail. Oh, maybe Wontumi did your man Penia Temunti and expeditious trial and ecoso. Ebia, Oman Penny. When you get now, Casa school crown, would ye a buyer, a my referral, no, it was school now come by way of Sabia Nippon political affiliation in there. Wouldn't almost did this, not buying a wash in Tisadian but me. In fact, President Mahama is not that president. You see, I always say something, sir. Papa no dimina. Ubia, Uhunwa, Wedin on Kasa. Sabe. Nyamisro add one to the extent say, only no maybe when num say, Obepra will be an answer because of him. Somebody should be crying. That's the natural personality of President Mahama. If you know him, sir, I am not too sure, sir. You want to make a car and program President Mahama, that one agenda. And number 2, maybe what can when a noon amamate effing hose. Whereas certain things have gone wrong, he as president insists that persons who will be taken on should be taken on properly within the context of rule of law. See, I say Kwame Biska, Udiska no hen, mmara kyerɛ sɛ yɛmfa no mfra mmara kwan so saa mmara kwan so no ma obi ɛnkyinkyim obi nsa. The law should take its course. That is the presidency of President Mahama. It doesn't also mean, sir, calling his name in wrongdoing will justify your exoneration. It will not happen. Kwame, we are President Mahama near crowd you'll be dealt with. All of us are actually he says it every day. You can use his name to eat, but you shouldn't be and you carry your own cross. And I'm standing to respond on this matter, sir. Yenyi omanpenyin edin yenyi edidiatamwa Wontumi and send him, because it won't subtract anything, it won't add up anything.
Ebinimo believe say chow panoko na mampeni say waji atumwa manu butusumna so. Even if there is a conviction, Kranwa, and no man penny betimi a bem a man pardon, said ye, or to me so in.
Yeah, if that is, if let the court do their work, trying to blackmail the court, the judiciary, trying to draw in the name of the most powerful man in this country, the first gentleman, will not save anybody. President Mahama and his family did not issue legal advice to Wontumi when he was doing mining. President Mahama and his family did not advise Wontumi loan or Exim Bank. And there are many things that he did that we can talk about. I have a litany of all of this. Kwame, the silence of most of us doesn't mean the MPP didn't do anything wrong.
Now, nya no pass say ya ka say ya na Sunday me pictorial evidence no obi bubu dan e ma be to nsa frɛ papa no ma papa ne betena ha wo se awo kan so obetua dan ne ka me se me nyi sika no na me de wo siduru se kora mebu asa abra woni ma nyina wom story building wo bu ni nyina to gu ye ya no pa se ya.
They've done all these things to people. Punish their own people. Today, the same people are saying that, oh, I have offended President Mahama. They can go and bring our revered king to go and beg President Mahama. It won't change whatever is happening in the court. President Mahama has no hand. He will not have a hand. We will not allow him to have a hand in what is happening in the court. Onkwedia, you say Onkwenya Onkwedi, Sabe, and I do free Onkwana Abako. And Intina, Kwame, Memfa, Memenya buying contract, and I may give you swa, Meres why here, because would be a buying car, your best hope with him.
Obiswa kase. Ye aba no ko adu se wono akoye wo bra na woni permit no ne ade ne hu komo ayedi still ye ken crofo da so to galam sei man wa the regions awodo no bebre ye tu Chinese for mran wo ho sa Minerals and Mining Act no amendment no ni nyina wo ba still crofo otu wo mu de ye kan no obi a wo ba ye national chairman of the MPP ene motu na ne esi so minim so what sanse mi bida
na ayi am robbery meda ya chichen krofo okrumu ha chichen krofo ma ko jele bi mu kurewu ama ayi edube bia na president paden krofo kwa chese jele aye ma kono boya yai
nyai
nti MPP ni ejina court nti yan ko hwehwe wi ase akogfu nyina yan chi wo mo sa na the MPP ni akọ I mean, does it make sense? Does it make, what kind of a cat and mouse mindset is that? Sir, we are party ni pursue the national chairman. Not one more brave year. Obia or the regional chairman to meet the body we say to me could discuss and could phone. Now one no we discuss. Someone to me is not a poor man. Why do you need poor people's money? And then you come back and talk about unemployment. You come back and talk about roads. Political power is not meant for doing wrongs. Political power is meant to be used to help in the process. No, you see, abai every and yet afro you new yet afro and a baby will be also would be. Yes, you are Siana, the animal no DVR or the chance, you know, Echo TV, Sabio, Sabin Pediasa. Sir, or party, what power in tea? You should do the things you like. When you finish, the law will deal with you. Kwame Koso for baby, the Kudi Bonia. Yabaka, the President Mahama Kwas or in Tienjano. No. And to be 7 years, Samaun to me. This cross, he will carry it. Let him defend himself in court. He should not draw in the name of the president into this matter.
I tell Panos so basso be pansue. O de ye fan say court to sem nim. Ba nipa no hu say wonu no ho be pacho.
President Mahama or Nam on the service of the bufu bi da. Sabi. Won the bufu bi da.
I was so kwese mampenda da akofo wono wo se ensuahye emfa nipa ensuonyu na fa nipa. O serupa no omia.
Omia obia ye. Na se ojimi fo no onim ta ababu no. So when you take such a man for granted, at Medicare, we must keep the standards high. So it was condemnable yesterday. It is condemnable today. Sir, Obi betimi afa amanyoni bi na we dinatemwe gunebusi anymore. It's wrong. I mean, I will never do that politics.
But won't we make us more politicians do baby on the spur of the movement no be a wo hia ni pa bia na ese tumi bia ba mu enom ne ade ade obi so be can say okay asem no kra me ka ye no just for political expediency I said it in jest and not to say
sabe impediasa e jimie no me sabe impediasa se ati u fie yie ansa na oba amanyo politics mu a and send me or you won't say it. Kwame, nobody takes on the MPP than I do. But I'll never cross a red line. Say, it goes to the root of that person, his background, his family. Say, good anymore. Say, I'll never do that. I'll never do that. Kwame, nobody has called President Nanado very corrupt than myself. If you Google it, you will find it.
Dan Sam George.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Nanado is the most corrupt president we've ever had. One of the biggest crimes he has committed is that he appointed a finance minister who, at the least opportunity he gets, he's not ready to account. MPP has handed our public purse to a person who does not account. And PTICCA, finance minister, ya appointed on all Yesikaso. President President Nanado didn't know his family members very well. So he's handed our public purse to a man who stole the purse. We are looking for him, we can't find him. That I will hold President Akufo-Addo responsible any day. Baumia will account for the sins of President Akufo-Addo any day. But never should anybody detail a family, prestigious family values of our politicians as a basis for ridicule. It should be condemnable. Sabiye, Baumiyamo, ese abronyamu a womu TV so no mu di asofo atem womu di dankawo uri awa fakota ni fi yeso womu ama undi president. I mean, it won't happen. What is wrong. And we must not encourage very unacceptable behavior in politics. So what we be one more cafe or manpening and then you cook at that and you say these things publicly. Somebody will ask whether you were you were on cocaine.
I say, so what sad narrative na osena ma lodina ko edwoma koto enema aba be ye aduane nti o yes so fa ne bag si okogina akwa so wo fa ka nana sa simtiti obi abaka say okay, you should treat it with a pinch of salt as it deserves. Nti ke bi anya asem bi anka ehu bia.
Kwame, our biggest pain in this government is that President Mahama have grounded all of us. Huh? If you allow us 10% of what Nanado allowed his people to do, I'm telling you, and he is a father that believes that, oh, unyamanenka, yanko yenim, yanshare animasem, yantichiri crew, you know, he doesn't like trouble, he doesn't want to see anybody being hurt. And it is troubling when you have the fear of God in you sometimes. That is the only reason. Oh. I mean, things have happened. Oh. So what Nika Fafa would be sabe. Ma Lord na umfri ayo esremu or esremu for yere. This is a woman that we are proud of. That is married our father, our brother. And loved him into being the president. What do you think the family of the first lady will be thinking? How do you think, sir, President Mahama's children will be feeling? If this was said about President Akufo-Addo or President Bawumia, how do you think his children will be feeling? So we bring in people's family needlessly in the profession that they choose to pursue. So we do that. Wontumi was a man recently, very beautiful woman. Wontumi's children are not in public gallery. Now, Obika saying, "Efa we yere huwa," or no Wontumi, will you be happy? No, but he has a different orientation. But yet we don't cross certain bridges. In fact, even if you were well brought up a year, no Ashanti, proper Ashanti would do the kind of things that utterances I attain, from Chairman's mouth against a certain president. A former president of your country, and you are still walking about and excuse my language, thinking that you want to send an apology. President Mahama doesn't need that apology. In fact, if they come to the Jubilee House to come and apologize, I will get them sacked. They will see the president. Like
Saturday, His Excellency the President to say media to minion to name as Director of Operations of the Presidency, Deputy Director of Operations.
I'm likely for them. I am the watchman of the Jubilee House. They will even see the president, let alone unrepentant, stupid apology. An apology of a sort. You do this nonsense and you think that you can blackmail the president at this time when you are standing trial because the man is forgiving enough. President Mahama is a very forgiving man. Kwame, but in the last 1 year, the man's demeanor and nature is taming all of us. And I think it's a good thing. Because the name of you, my own quiet. He will tell you to stop. Oh, it's okay. Don't cause trouble here and there. But it doesn't mean you should take him for granted. You understand? Say a young man, you're 17, because the same BNI can't defend for and you do this to a former president. And you now going to sit and say that because you are seeing a jail gate on an uncomfortable place that you are going to be, it's either they allow you to become a national chairman who, in the quest to shield yourself from accountability, or you should say that you are being prosecuted because when the President Mahama, in the pleadings, in the issue that he is answering in court. Did you see President Mahama's name there?
Oh.
Did Attorney General raise any, action that has to do with President Mahama in the issues that are happening in court? So why is he bringing in President Mahama's name? It's blackmail. But this blackmail is not wise. It's empty. And it has to be dismissed as started. I just pray that the courts will give fidelity to justice on behalf of the people of Ghana, irrespective of who is involved, irrespective of who is concerned. If you have to be prosecuted, you should be prosecuted. If you have found committed a crime, the law should apply. The law is the law. President Mahama will not become a clearing agent of such nonsense. Excuse my language. He should leave the man to focus on the things he's doing for this country. For us in the NDC, we are very happy. We are.
Wontumi. The case in this woman, the judge in this woman file addresses on or before 17th of this month. Now, 3rd July. One for Akemu Emra. Now, multimedia, someone 10 times say, and then you are to be 8 years, 10 years now, man, that's what you
judging candid opinion. Let me be very blunt and honest and sincere. Maybe I'm not comfortable the rate of a case in A2 Milikasa. This is my personal view. I may be right, I may be wrong. Because cases of this nature, and my cases be bring war. You said that man in 2 Milika. And yes, I said that. What do I say? Obin Abrabo, Obin Yasio. If you come in Casa, you call you some boat. You look at the cases very well, especially if you are for the accused person. You look at the cases very well. From so, prosecution per se in 2 Milika. And then you know, the man 2 Milika. That is why I say, who just started. I said, the incident where some money 2 Milika for some period. Incident, so no one home so. So sometimes when you are doing this things, you need to be very careful. You should check cautiously. But in case the neck or any case why that means in my candid opinion, my personal opinion. I will from the brother too technical. Too technical. And yet too technical. And who say we human life? Now we say we human life now. I say you must go all out. Look, one bad focus here, I find the motion. I'm not public domain, but I find the motion at the High Court. What is the purpose of that motion? My filing a motion or notice to prohibit the circuit court judge from hearing the matter. Why? Why? Because circuit court judge, you know, they are reminded I'm back for me. Okay, I say my money bail qua. Obakwa for your body view. Tell you, some man bail qua. Obakwa for your body view. And Timina proceedings, and no. That you know, Sabi, the way I mean, can we know why an argument? And you know, in law, it means that he has descended into the arena of the conflict. I'm not attacking the judge. I am just raising the issues. So I filed a motion or notice to prohibit the circuit court judge. And I believe that by now, it will come myself. And I think it's coming on the either 10th or 12th of the 12th or 13th June. I sought their permission. Because I said, me wa me raising. Me catcher me pan say. For money, but for not on Pama could go upon common chamber one. Never to bank canning, never because Donny there, a semi boo for substantive case, the other day, ya cocaine submission burn that room. And about Pama and then Pama go for dance to bench. As a semi boo, a man, woman, because they are all lawyers assistant When I appoint my emotion, not a failure. I can't do it. I can't do it without even giving them the opportunity to read. Upon commission, adoption, voter junior, a fuck motion. Now I am but as a semi duo and my woman. Maybe I'll go no matter, that's the opportunity. That's banking derby. Banking derby. Because, oh, so sometimes when lawyers we are doing cases, sabi kafrachu. Number one, saying panic. What President Mahama a petition against Nanado in 2021? You know, we were about 10 lawyers, 10 or 12 lawyers. I guess here, MPP Kokomule, MPP head of about 12. We were about 12 lawyers. A lawyer for Pare, do me a new, and I guess Kokomule, MPP. Now, your final. Petition number 1, or can say petition number 2. Do me a no, and I do 9 cry. And we are not by Frank Davis. So, who is that? I could tamp out. I could general and Frank Davis, no, Sylvia. Yes, who the Sabami and Sunny General there. But, yeah, defense, so no, me a union. A lawyer for my could do me a new. So, as lawyer, sometimes. Mr. Nicole, cases in the bar. My young Catabia, Yamin client, and to me, no, you can assemble about 10 lawyers. No, the Margin, no question the amount. Could they wait a next American? Could be an petitioner, President Mahama, you know, your difference. You are about 12 lawyers. So, well, let's wait and see July 4th. But my candid opinion, the American case in A2. Now me are scared, now me are worried. Now me are scared, now me are worried. This is my personal opinion. Wontumi is my friend. Wontumi is my younger brother. Wontumi is my boss. Wontumi is my original chairman. Wontumi TV. Now I'm original fan because every Saturday I benefit from Wontumi. Wontumi should benefit from me. But until I don't have the way to express my personal opinion. So let's wait and see. I am not like commentators. But I don't do that. I don't do that. And if you don't catch, oh, now say, because I got a client to for me. Into I'm by a mother, MPP. Now I'm going to be my MPP for. I say, many on my bone for me. Now I'm there, baby, I'm coming my album for you. Yeah. Maybe not when I'm if you are offended by me.
1.7 system. Say, yes, as a memo of an emergency center. No, yes, in Papa Peswama, emergency center, and I pay the emergency. And it's a way to be back. Sorry if you didn't have a
What would say, Chairman, or Pekwan Koba, no? Yes, what center, no? A resource center for Bear 12 regions. Referrals, I would do it would be a Sound hospital, a beef in northern region, beef upper west, upper east, a be a free western north, western, a beef free, Miawood baby, a baho. It's a more watch, Romana, Yenny expansion, be a debemano, na I be.
Yo, one come here, look where. If you say, you can't hospital be a teaching hospital, a tertiary facility. I will be a call SSRI, you know. Also, tertiary, there's training and now university. And the Sana hospitals here, who predate state hospitals are. Now, in what regional hospitals, now, what do tertiary hospitals are. Confirm not the account. And it's a case, you know. I brew almost one. There's a Nippon, ya to one anonymous and theatre. What I say? It's a whole temper across to work of another. Then yes, sir, NDC by now. How much change of another you know? And I can't ask them when see ya. Well, sure, NDC for Comacate. Nippon or ya NCP, 18 as I did not. The way the Oma Nipo, and all the class at the way I say. The background media master, no, I say. Satam Kissy say yes, here. Yes, Shazam Protector Minister, I am in Takando. Obafre for notice you. Now, what am not Papa, Etimi Esti Ewo.
Okay, fam. Okay, 1
zero no for tourists. Meaning, also Sunday no. Not a service and Pana. And I said, not a Jimmy Power when you accident, you know. I don't know, no, I'm a no about the tunnel. I said, I said, Doctor, before, I'm a nurse to know a can't be ma. 10 years, Yana or 2 4 or 10 to 12 to me, and I did not know as to what the media. I doctor, the new ferry and Munyam at the game, and got up and see that to a striker and got a person who actually no papa. When the Parliamentary Select Committee on the health, free Parliament, I say, young call a military hospital. Any others there, a car who be no, they shed their air cost to Ewo. Papa, you put for a military hospital, yes, she share. And near my who do I what facility or no? You get the look right.
Okay, fam. Okay, 101.7.
What I see here? Who gave you the permission? Where's your letter? The letter was supposed to come from CDR. Why? Starting command. And you say, your people's representation, MP. And one more ambassador, the aqua to work of nothing, you know. The Baba share. Existing facilities now and what Hano. They have said, I can't be better my estimate the Nippani be up a hat incorporating that. Papa, and ye I will take your letter command, Southern command, no, to the command, the CDH or the CD1 white. I might just say, I bet you keep back 21 days. And Sana, yes, I will try the other day. I just I am home system. That's also in all things, you know. They are to me about a military hospital. Ya confessor, and what emergency center, and Dimu at the BPA, you have family. And what 15 theaters, maternity,
okay, fam. Okay, 101.7.
Come and see, I would do, and Konya Airport BPA is in place there. You bet me at Jennifer and go. Yes, was so concentrated. And hospital accident emergency center no ebi wo ho ye cause accident emergency center no ebi wo ho eno ne yakase enka minta kando the best decision I also go taking in say otimi ka check of nothing you no say a doctor amowa ha no ye fa bi nko afari ye fa bi nko trade ye fa bi enko tawia se ne be ya referral cases are ever be no ye betimi ade ebi alcohol na etimi akọju omo rather than say obeka to was Sunday the CEO no if he says that ade na oye no amwa pra but there are some when you say traditional council wo Asante Region House say next week no omo so be ko
okay
na me nim say omo so da follow the omo be pa the omo dey say mu ne dia me nim dia e be ko so.
So ni muse baby to say afari hoyi aye kai eye military zone no soldier for na bo ho ban maybe kwam se nkrofo bi ko ma the same thing so as happy eti no ugiri say
Bakwame eye military zone na say eye military hospital it doesn't prevent ordinary person and our people's representation omo ye MP omo ya de bibia so mo say ye sika ya de ebo man hu bra e di no omo ntimi nko he ne ma bi so the neighbor bibi hu ba ya it doesn't prevent anybody from accessing the place and also bibi ta eti ye de ye ko ye say ye ko he de ko so because as someone say no ni pan pa that's why ni pan pa and you say one point existing places and what is it about? You won't quite say a couple. If you say COVID-19, COVID-19, you really will be that. Pentecost of 4 e de wo prayer center e wo gomu afete e ma ye si enkoje ayarehwe wo na se baby aye security say e hospital that ye wie fa ye be kimi de nipa akọba akọhẹ no ebesi akọhẹ nipa ni bi wo prayer center asema ye ka nyina no
na ọmọ nso bọ sobo bi sẹ baabi ti sẹ afẹri baabi ti sẹ sewua ẹni mmea ahodoɔ bebree hɔ a wɔn mo ɛna ɛyɛ gya hɔ ma aban fie nwɔtwe mu antoa so eti so bɔ no deɛ sɛ si asɛ wɔn mo ba 1.5 years ni na mo tena hɔ 8 years ni mo amɛyɛ a mo de so bɔ no bɛbɔ wɔn mo sɛn
Rakwame enye no kreta na yema amanfo hu no kra ekoso ewo Asante Martin SDP for by 2017
Okay, 101.7
na NDP for atake na omo ewie ye yanka se NDP for na atake ntino enye ade a ye Kumawu hospital no ama ene yakometi a eye aduma Yetaruzu ebeto komina NDC for the job there. And also na na kufado etwa so a we hospital na ya committee ama yensomu ayarehwe. Iyo jet project ya ebine konongo sepa. Enda ye friend say seria and also na kufado president kufado staff but NDC the almost Yetimi abatwaso complete ninina seria be kachewi the commission on the 4th of January 2025 there cannot be a situation President of the Republic everyone commission facility facility no
Okay,
na no monopolitics na omoye after military hospital so eya president Kufuor and a share asie and NDC for so buy almost so ever so but o me enri ye buy no so we ba be ye die o te ye bia am that to be 98%. That's why we make the 98% ya na e ka e wo availability hospital hu nyina ye 2.2 billion Ghana NDC for 2 billion Ghana cedis aka 200 million per yetimi etia naga ya kase hospital no yetia ho ka awie na no krampo no I have a challenge say obi do ka 2.2 so otia mu 2 billion ya ja ade no awie ya ne say wo senka yetimi eye na wa wadi tia udim soldier fortem just do before complaint manipa to me and Kahwater.
Okay,
aside that, aside the Nana Kupado agenda 111 and Yanka wanted. Baku 23 and on the bread walk reading Moha. Orieno, or sounds also F. Vamed Hospital, or started from the scratch and will ye. Unko Tabro no more do of Unko Swami a view of Unko and Furniture, Kadia a view of Unko Mason Quanta a view of and a drop also. 5 hospitals, Obieno at a time. In a day, no, Obie 5 hospitals. And now them get one. If you have health facilities in there, my can't say, you're here to do an hour. Comfort nothing for crying, you can't want them. And the entity for a year, and now them get one. The own back of another over Clerk Center. Just see me come. OSHA Intensive Baby Care Unit, Rebecca Foundation, Bayer, and MPP time. Oko omo oncology department ya. Yes, see die. Amamu. Na edan bi si ho a I can't for and maternity block. Na ebefa dipa 500.
No, and I know one which I said so see in 1974.
Akufo-Addo ba ye abaya bako. And so Akufo-Addo ba ye ya ko KUSC. Ekofa structural integrity for bebe dino. Also a dino and 43 years into a more wording in other a pre asset. Eti Akufo-Addo Budani Guya 800 maternity block. And to bear 90%. That is a dino answer. Eti aba ayareshadia ya bebre. Nanso so no abaye Oshena and for Enco, Nomu Koya Juma, and then the politics. and the APR to so and the APR to your feet said, yeah, the star. Nipa kwa and your Didia bro. Nipa kwa free the star. And now you're a bit media bar. It's your night for the people. They are busy panel. Then the Baya, the Baya for the Amayan Coco.
I ain't a woman wɔ announcement bi akeki gu on.
Brekwa me ya semo ma famu papa na nyame hata toe e na di me ho afofie. Me gramo na is a drop for be frame me say. Omo ko hu cement be 1,000 back. A kete ensuo out cement ni nyina keki a adane wo. And I say anyway the ma me ko hese ni fifie. And I me say kai say and me de do do na picture no and I say video no mu twa no. Yes, me actually yes. It's my 912. Me to get what we will say. I just want just more again more.
I want to PENDREAM nasa chireme ya nasa nanka.
Baby, I have preliminary tribute. Me take the one I have brown the black no. Which is the poison and the movement.
Okay, FM. 101.7.
I commend with the Anyanka. Emergency be back coming. I just me see Jesus. Now me Jimmy. And I'm me I found what me told the kind of me say. I think I'm a near me question or how to do.
Not correct. So be. If you are happy about it, not correct. So be it. Obianim Ghana has said, me kind of correct. Never minded. The Dominion Copono, go with principles and morals and good conscience. Now, me do what you believe. Okay, June 4th. And this is the first celebrity. I am about the bomb my basso. The day you know best celebrating. Maybe I say, let's then you see a free June 4th. And people for being rubbish. We don't know that rubbish. Women see celebrate and can make MPP. Minority won your press conference and can they me to tell the whole world that there are lessons to be learned from June 4th. Papa and Bonia a womb. Nanina Jerry John Rollins car or confessing it. Some of the Kunku for crying active participants of June 4th and 31st and so or national reconciliation. John Rollins, but you know, 14 years before.
His company are standing trial over allegations that mining activities were undertaken within their Samri Boy concession and without the requisite authorization. The prosecution alleges that these activities occurred within a forest reserve and constituted unlawful mining operations. The Supreme Court has also dismissed a suit filed by Imani Africa and security analyst Professor Kwesi Inin challenging the president's authority to appoint and remove heads of security agencies. Delivering the judgment, Justice Gabriel Pwaman, who chaired the panel, said the court found no merit in the plaintiff's claims and accordingly dismissed all the relief sought. The court also ruled that the offices of the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the Prison Service do not fall within the protective scope of Article 191 of the Constitution. It further held that the appointments of the Chief Fire Officer and the Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service are governed by statutes and remain within the President's discretion as part of his constitutional responsibility for the nation's security.
In a sense, what we asked for, they haven't given us. But they've decided what to give us, and they've given that to us. And that's what they explain, that in their mind, the offices are not the same. In our law, as it is written, there's no distinction per se. All right, they all come under 191. They are public servants. They are protected, you know, and all those things that we wrote. But the IG, the Supreme Court is saying that two of them should be specially treated, and then the others should also be separately treated. And they gave reasons like the security of the state and the president is the head of the security and a couple of things which it's not clear to us. We went to court on the basis of the law as it is. And the basis of the law as it is that all these offices are public offices. They are protected under Article 191. You can't just get up and sack a person because you assume office. Assuming office as a president or anything is not cause for sacking others. And there are many cases like that. So we will wait and read the full ruling of the Supreme
Chairman Wontumi. Among other things, Otredako Mensah admitted during cross-examination that he was unaware of the conversation between Wontumi and Henry Okumi, who is the prosecution witness number 2, which resulted in the latter mining on his concession, Asamre Boy. Lord Edwasari reports.
Bernard Enchi-Boisiakon, also known as Wontumi, is facing charges of assigning mining rights without the approval of the land minister and facilitating illegal mining operations on the Asamre Boy concession in the Western region. Former Western Regional Minister Kwabena Otredako Mensah, who also served as chairman of the Western Regional Security Council, told the court during his testimony that a formal complaint was received from Akonta Mining about the invasion of illegal mining operators on Wontumi's Asamre Boy concession. He affirmed that the complaint was written and documented and was urgently acted upon by the Security Council, as it was consistent with several complaints from other mining rights owners in the region about organized criminal groups invading concessions and carrying out illegal mining. During cross-examination by Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Shremsai, the former minister, who served from 2017 to 2025, disclosed that he did not personally know the prosecution's second witness, Henry Okum, the individual who testified that he was commissioned by Wontumi to mine on his concession. Henry Okum had further told the court that Wontumi did not produce any formal mining rights. Asked about the engagement between Okum and Wontumi, Dako Mensah indicated that he was unaware of the interaction between the small-scale miner and the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman. Lead counsel and the Apia Kubi expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the testimony.
Was to indicate that it was rather Chairman Wontumi and his company that made reports to his office as then chairman of the Western Regional Security Council, and that all efforts made by the Security Council to ward off illegal miners and also to redeem or reclaim the lands so degraded by illegal mining were at his instance. So today's evidence sits very well with our own, and indeed it exonerates people who engage in reclamation of degraded lands.
And we are streaming on Facebook and on our website, so be a part of the show.
We begin from the United Kingdom, where President John Mahama has stated that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill passed by Parliament is not yet ready for presidential assent, noting that the process still has some way to go. Speaking at Chatham House in London on Monday, he explained that concerns have been raised regarding the bill's passage, particularly issues related to quorum and procedural compliance during parliamentary proceedings.
Parliament has been considering it, and it was supposed to have been passed last week. There have been a few issues raised. One, that there wasn't quorum when it was passed. That's an issue that has come up. And then two, there were some procedural lapses in terms of its passage. I just got some communication that the Speaker was reading a statement to address the issue of the lapses in the passage of the bill. And so, like I said when I was the opposition leader, the President has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent, and so once the President gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the presidency and the Attorney General would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the President is advised to assent. The President has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State for advice. The Council of State is an advisory body to the President, and so they'll take a look at it and then they will advise the president. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the president would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And so there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law.
Thank you.
In a related development, the Speaker of Parliament, Gbande, says he was surprised at the speed by which the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill was passed by Parliament. He has, as a result, summoned the two leaders of the House to explain matters to him, insisting such a critical bill must be passed by consensus.
We know the copious instruments and laws on human rights. All over, we have to go through all, from the UN Charter to the African People's Rights and what, all, we have to go through all. Then we have also our development partners who have a lot of contribution to make. We have the United Nations coming in with proposals on memo and everything. We as Ghanaians also have to dig deeper into our cultures, our customs, our values before we came out with what was passed on Friday. And in fact, when it was passed on Friday, it was even a surprise to me. Because I knew that we were going to start the consideration of the bill. And that was the instructions I left before I went to attend to other activities. It was Friday, and members wanted to go home early to their constituencies, the one we're going to see today. So I knew they wouldn't have completed it. But all of a sudden, I read about this passage. I reacted, and later I saw on TV all the things that happened. And so this evening, I've asked the leaders to meet me in my office. So they will be here for us to go through it. This is such a critical bill that we believe there must be consensus. But it's not about passing the bill. It's about implementing it and making sure that it benefits.
Meanwhile, the minority caucus in Parliament has accused government and the ruling National Democratic Congress of weakening the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill through extensive amendments before its passage by Parliament last Friday. The Member of Parliament for Asen South, Reverend John Ntim Fodjo, was addressing a media briefing.
According to Reverend John Ntim Fodjo, the changes proposed in the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill represent a departure from commitments made to Ghanaians by the NDC during the 2024 election campaign. He maintained that existing Ghanaian laws already criminalize same-sex sexual relations and same-sex marriage, adding that the primary objective of the anti-LGBTQ+ bill was to address the promotion, advocacy and sponsorship of LGBTQ-related activities.